Welcome to the Grow Your Business Cleveland video series. Co-producing and appearing in the series, the talented GYB CLE Interns. Supporting sponsors include NOAC, a regional partnership of Chambers of Commerce. New Image Media, Northeast Ohio's most recognized name in video for business.
In this episode, Marvin Montgomery, also known as the sales doctor, author, and motivational speaker, shares how to become a trusted advisor and not just a salesperson. After the tip, we go backstage and learn about getting Marvinized, hooking the big fish, the ABCs of giving, and more.
Hi, my name is Marvin Montgomery, better known as the sales doctor. And today we're going to talk about how to become a trusted advisor and not just a salesperson. First and foremost, the approach has to be asking questions and listening if you want to become that trusted advisor. Because when you ask questions and listen, there's something immediate that comes from that. They will come back, they will refer you, but they will also request you. The second benefit that comes from asking questions and actively listening is you show people that you care. We've all heard the expression, people could care less how much you know until they know how much you care. So are you showing people how much you care? Are you actually eliminating assumptions? In other words, guessing that you know what they need instead of asking and listening to find out what you need. Active listening is extremely important because that's the second part of that asking questions and actively listen. Because when you actively listen, that means you're not waiting to talk. Because when you're waiting to talk, that means you're using your spare thinking time to drift off, zone out, and shut down, and you're not paying attention to what the person is saying. So there's some techniques that can be used to actively listen. You can paraphrase back, repeat back what they just said. You can ask questions that, again, shows that person that you're interested. You can physically show them you're paying attention by nodding of the head, leaning forward. If you're on the telephone, you can also do a technique which is called acknowledging or attending to what they're saying by just saying something simple as, I see, continue. Because if you don't do that, they're going to ask you a question which says, are you still there? And maybe you're not. So are you actively listening or are you impatiently waiting? Are you actually letting them know that you're paying attention to what they said? So to sum it up, if you really want to become that trusted advisor and not just a salesperson, make sure that you're doing those three things that we just discussed. Actively listening and asking questions. Benefiting from the benefits we talked about and making sure that you're actively listening and not just impatiently waiting to talk.
Up next, we get to know Marvin. You're obviously not from Cleveland if you haven't heard the phrases #AllIn, BelieveLand, or Get Marvinized.
You know what, I remember it just like it was yesterday, May 1st, 1972. Started with a company called J.B. Robinson Jewelers. I tell people all the time I got my MBA, from Larry J.B. Robinson. He was a very big proponent on training and developing his people, and he really trained us the right way, to ask questions and listen very actively when people came into the store to buy a piece of jewelry. So when you came in, we'd actually sit you down, and before we pull out a piece of jewelry from the counter, we'd want to make sure that whatever we pulled out was going to be something that was going to satisfy your needs. So great times with Larry. That's where I got my professional MBA in sales from him. One of the first sessions that I did when I first started my business in 1990 was on a Saturday. And after the session, I went around the room like I normally do, and because I knew these people weren't that happy coming in on a Saturday afternoon to do training. So I said, what was your takeaway from today? And there was a young lady in the back, and she said, hey, can I go first? I said, sure, go right ahead. She says, well, I don't know about anybody else today, but I really feel like I've been Marvinized. I went, what? Where did that come from? She said, well, you have two things that I really haven't seen combined in a long time. I said, what are those? What are those two things? She said, well, you have motivation and you also have substance. Because I've heard a lot of speakers and trainers have motivation but no substance. But substance, but no motivation. And I'll tell you, Marvin, you have both. So I really feel like I've been Marvinized today.
Nature writer Harry Middleton once said, fishing is not an escape from life, but often a deeper immersion into it.
Oh, I love to fish. And I was fortunate to have a grandfather and a father who introduced me to fishing years ago. And I got hooked the first time out. So anytime I get a chance to relax, I actually have my rod and reel and tackle box in the car right now because I never know when I may have the opportunity. Only an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm good to go. That's my me time. to get out there on the water or get out there in a boat and just sit back and relax a little bit. And sometimes I'm so relaxed, catching a fish can be an actual interruption. So yeah, fishing is my me time. That's the way I kind of kick back and relax from the hustle and bustle. If I'm doing the boat thing, I'll go out on Lake Erie and I'll fish off of Rocky River, or I'll fish off of East Lake, or sometimes off of 55th to take the boat out. But my love, though, is bass fishing. I think that probably one of the biggest fish that I ever caught was out at my friend's lake. It might have been almost close to a 4-pound largemouth bass.
Being involved and giving back is one of the most powerful ways to impact your local community.
Oh, I think everybody should give back. I really spend a lot of time when I can donating my time back in areas that can benefit from the things I do every day for a living. I volunteer for a couple job search programs in the area that are working with people that are in transition, and I talk about how to sell yourself. I work with organizations like United Way, especially during their campaign time, when they have to go out and stump, so to speak, for donations, and I talk about how to the ABCs of giving, the approach, the benefit, and the close. So anytime I have an opportunity to give back to youth or adults or organizations or churches that can use those same techniques of active listening and asking questions, I'm there, because there's an expression, if you go through life with a closed fist, nothing goes out and nothing comes in. So I'm always looking to give an open helping hand whenever I can.
So how did Marvin score as a Grow Your Business Cleveland expert? We gave a thumbs up for actively listening, reeling in the big fish, being the doctor of sales, and Marvinizing us.
Special thanks goes to our Grow Your Business Cleveland contributing experts for supporting our mission of growing business and kickstarting careers in Northeast Ohio. So don't miss a video or an opportunity to be part of the show. Subscribe at GYBCLE.com and follow us on our social media channels. And remember, if you like it, share it.